Anyway, we were going to talk about fresh starts. Fresh starts are dangerous. Fresh starts are dangerous because they cut off the blood supply to all the other servers. There are a lot of people who will join a game at a fresh start window. However, when you're trying to do proper server management and you're trying to keep all of your servers healthy, then this is the problem that you're going to run into. And obviously, I'm not going to do a ton of servers, so realize that this is on a much larger scale. But let's do 4, 5. You guys will see all 5, right? Okay. And as players get acquired, and I'm gonna use a very specific icon here because this is part of the business strategy. As players get acquired into your pre-existing servers, right? You need them to funnel into the places where the server's populations are going down or the server populations are low. If you're doing proper server management, then these servers are unavailable for new players because these servers' populations are either high or they're stable. Now, here's where fresh start servers are a real danger. We're gonna just say servers A and B. Servers A and B are underpopulated. They're both underpopulated. And that is because you had a shit guild on them. You had a bunch of PKers. For whatever reason, servers A and B are struggling in order to get up to that minimum 10,000 concurrent player cap. And now, actually, I'm going to go so far as to say, we're not going to say 10,000. We're going to say these two servers are struggling to even maintain the bottom of the metrics of the 8,000 player server, the 8,000 cap. They're below 8,000. 8,000 is what you've decided is the minimum floor. And let's say these servers are each at 6,000. We'll say like 6,000 and 6,200. Okay. Now your job as the company is to incentivize people to go to these servers. There's a lot of ways companies do this: recruit a friend campaigns, return to Vera campaigns. There's a lot of things that you do to try to get people to come back. However, if you don't do something soon, the inevitable is going to have to happen, and we're going to have to do a server merge. And then this is going to be server AB. And because you had 6 and 62, you're going to assume that you're going to have a population of 12,200 minus people who leave because they just got fucked. You're hoping to keep this number north of 10,000. And I know what you're saying right now. You're saying, Jay, we were talking about fresh start servers. And here you've jumped fresh start servers. You've gone to server mergers. You're right, I have. Because we needed to spell out the disaster that happens if your new player acquisition funnel dries up. Now, server merges with nodes would be a mess. No, because everybody gets wiped. Both servers wipe and you come out of the gates again. Yeah, everybody gets restarted. It's brand new, clean server. You just get to keep your shit and your progression, but not your node progression. Now, here's where fresh start servers screw us, right? Hold on. I'm Mr. Conductor. Let me run the show. This is your fresh start server. So, first thing here is you announce in 10 days that you're doing a fresh start launch. Well, here's what dries up. Why are people going to go to server A or server B if they know a fresh start server is coming in 10 days? So those people, they stop going to A and B, or A, B, C, D, and E. They stop going to A, B. Well, they stop going to all these servers, right? They stop going to all these servers. Your new players are going to line up, and they're going to go to the fresh start server. Next, anybody who was new on these 3 servers, right? And we're only going to focus on A and B. Anybody who was new, who's played for a month. I played for a month. I figured out the game. I got a handle on it, but I'm so far behind all these other guys. They'll just leave their servers and they'll join this server when it goes live. I feel like I'm comfortable. Now on server E, you've got, we're going to call them the 6th guild. They're a guild. They think they're pretty good, but they're not good enough to take a castle. The 6th guild is also going to come, and they're going to reform on the new server, thus driving the population of this server even lower, even lower, even lower. You've cut off inbounds. This eventuality is now a foregone conclusion, and now this server also needs to merge. It also now affects C and D, because now C and D are slow. They're going to lose some people, right? And then they're slowly gonna drop population, because there's no point in joining C and D. This is why fresh start servers are bad for the long-term health of your game. Fresh starts destroy games. Yes, they do. But what they do is they bring in all of this. They bring in that otherwise unobtainium. Fresh start servers are good for the company short term. They're bad for the game long term, because there are people who won't join a game that's been in progress this many years. I think there wouldn't be a need for fresh start servers if they do node resets. They're not going to do node resets. Why are they going to do node resets? They're going to do server merges when they have to. And when they do server merges, they'll inevitably get an influx of new players. But node resets would cost you players. Why are you destroying my node? Why are you destroying the world? Just because? Okay, great. I had a good run. Do you think maybe you can have different characters in each server? You can have different characters on each server. Absolutely. But the problem is how many characters can you play at the same time? People talk about, well, alts are going to be good. No, they're not, because you only count as a person one time. You count exactly one time when it comes to your population. So you count one time. Everybody counts one time. Unless you're playing multiple characters at the same time. So it'd be kind of like Conan. I assume it'll be like every other game where you can have multiple characters at the same time. What's with new servers when your player base continues? What's with new servers when your player base continuously grows? I don't understand the question. You need to reword that and rephrase it, because I'm not sure where you're trying to go there. Some people would like to pay for multiple months of subscription to take advantage of potential deals. If a person had an unexpected work trip, say 1 month argument, military deployment, where they knew there'd not be connectivity, would Intrepid be open to the idea of freezing the prepaid sub time? Here's the thing. Having been prior military and having been in that situation, that's not really good for the company. However, Steven has already said that there's going to be some control over when and how your game time gets used. He says, what if all servers are stable and your player base grows? I don't know if he said that. That's why I asked them for a clarification. Is the 10K to 50K character-based or account-based? It's first of all, right now, it's 10K to 15K at launch, just so we clarify. And it's account-based. How will new servers impact the game in general if the population across the board is increasing? I don't know if that's their question. I'll let the person who asked the question ask the clarification question because it's their question. Now, if that's your question, I'll answer that. But yeah, don't clarify for other people. I don't need you to do that. Do you think that since that's exactly what I meant? Okay. If all servers are stable and your player base grows, therefore not able to fit in the existing servers anymore. Well, that is where we get into the discussion of the launch window. And that's also where we get into the 50K to 10K ratio after launch. Not everybody plays every single day. Now, I know Intrepid has a lot of balancing to do in so far as they have primetime specific servers, so you can expect your server to be fairly dead outside of primetime. And I know Intrepid would probably argue with me about making that statement, and I'll say that's great. But if you have primetime event-driven servers, then your server's peak population is going to be during the primetime window, and all other times of the day it's going to be lighter and or dead. For example, play Arcage at 6 o'clock in the morning. Play Arcage at 11 o'clock in the morning. Play Arcage at noon. You know, got to kill that Kraken for our Abyssal packs, but that's in the afternoon. Arcage is really a 6-hour a day game. You can play other games and then play Arcage for the 6-hour primetime window. Do you think that since there are world bosses like a dragon from the node videos that could de-level or destroy a node, would it be possible for a super world boss to destroy the world, but players would keep their progression and items? No, bosses cannot destroy nodes. Bosses cannot destroy nodes. Bosses can disrupt nodes, but not destroy them. An event cannot de-level a node. An event can create a scenario where you're getting more atrophy because services that were online that were generating XP have now been disabled. But the boss could stomp around like King Koopa for 20 minutes inside your node and it won't destroy it. Does the artisan system include a mechanic similar to labor? No, there is no labor system. What about the countries that won't have a big enough player base? How will our servers look? Well, you won't have a server. Well, first of all, if you don't, let me be honest with you. What about countries that won't have a big enough player base? What will our servers look like? You won't have a server. Your country won't have a server if you don't have enough population to justify putting a server there. Period. That's just business. That's just business, and that's just how the game works. The game works in such a way that the server the game requires a the server requires a minimum number of players. They can tweak the total number of players needed in a range. They can tell the world manager that we want this server to stay viable, but we're going to have a lower population on this server than we normally do. They can control all of that stuff. However, if your server population drops down to about 4,000, your server's going to get merged. Because the game's just not going to function well. It's not going to run well. Oh. Hi. Up. Hi, kitty. I love the new alerts. You guys have no idea. And the other ones are funny too. They're all funny. And I gotta get more made. I'm addicted to getting alerts made. Do I think they might mash countries together like Australia and Asia? No, there's a healthy enough population in Australia that want to play. So you'll see an oceanic server. And also, can we focus here for a second? Although Australia is a country, it's also a continent that includes New Zealand. So that that area of the world isn't just a country. And then Asia isn't a country at all. Asia is a region. Let's just be clear. And I'm not trying to be snarky, but we have to recognize that when we say Asia, Asia is a massive fuck ton of people. And for those of you that don't realize this, India is technically in Asia, so you're talking a massive population. Hi.
I say, Sprocket, we've reached the end of another video. Time to thank the sponsors. Yes, that will do, that will do. Shall we pop off for a spot of tea?